Let's get started on drawing out our crazy chameleon. Follow the drawing guide that is on the board. You'll notice I folded my paper in half and in half again, just as a guide to help me draw some of these shapes that create my chameleon. You'll notice a curved line, straight lines, and then I'm using those fold lines to help me with my placement. Curved lines can be used for its leg, a spiral line for its tail, and another spiral for its tongue. That'll give you the chameleon's body. You can also add any kind of patterns that you want to your chameleon, as well as an eye. Now let's think about the rest of the picture. I was thinking what a chameleon might be on. Maybe a plant, or leaves, or flowers. These are some just basic ideas that I wanted to utilize to fill up some more of my paper. And then I started thinking about what kind of temperature or what might the sky be showing. Maybe a sun or maybe some clouds might be interesting. And now that I've got it in pencil, I'll move on to outlining in black. When you get your Sharpie, go over all your pencil lines. Everything that you've drawn in pencil, just go ahead and outline it with black. It makes it a whole lot easier to see all of the designs and patterns that you used and the different lines that you created to create your chameleon. Then, once I've finished outlining in black, we'll move on into the coloring process. Something a little bit different than what we've used in the past. Now that I've got that done, we're going to be using a water, tissue paper, water method. You'll notice I placed a brush onto my paper and it had water on it, so that when I take the tissue, the yellow colored tissue paper, I'm placing water on top of that. Again, it's almost acting kind of like a glue. Remember, it's water, tissue, water. You can start to see already how the water and the tissue start to take the color from the tissue and start to blend into the paper. It's almost like it's taking the tissue paper and turning it into a paint. I love the way this looks. The colors can mix and blend right onto the paper. And again, you always start with water on your paper first, so that the tissue paper will get soaked up by the water, and then reapply water on top of it so that it stays in place. So again, it's water, tissue, water again. You'll also notice how I'm taking some of those tissue paper squares and tearing those up. Now, you don't have to do that, but I just didn't want all of my tissue papers to be squares. But instead, I thought I'm just going to do a little folding or a little tearing so that it mainly fills up the picture that I've created. Now, I'm okay with some of my color going into the background. I thought I'm just experimenting and trying some different things today. I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like by the time that I'm done, and I'm okay with that. I thought that that might be kind of a surprise element for me as this starts to dry. So as I'm taking the tissues, again, my purpose or my goal is to completely color in or cover over my drawing with some of these tissue paper squares, so that by the time I peel them, I'll see some color underneath. You might even notice that on my leaves aren't always green. You can mix some of your colors as well. So my pink leaves, my orange leaves, my yellow on top of my green leaves, that might be kind of an interesting experiment as well. I'm anxious to see what this is going to look like when it's dry. Again, remember that method. Water on your paper first, tissue, and then water again on top. Let's take a moment, set that aside so that it can dry. When it's dry and you take off your tissue paper, you'll have some beautiful colors left behind on your paper. Thanks for watching. Happy art making!